Everyone, it's Holly and welcome to what I'm calling 15 books in 2015. And no, that's not, I'm only going to read 15 books in 2015, but it is 15 books that are on my TBR shelf that I want to read in 2015 because they've either been there for a long time or I know I'm going to keep putting them off for whatever reason. And I mean, I want to read all of these books. I bought them for a reason, so I need to read them. So I'm hoping if I make a video about this, then I will actually do it. So the first three, I kind of have them divided up into like genre, kind of. So the first three are romance or romance-esque books, I guess. So the first is Uncertain Magic by Laura Kinsall. I've read a few of her books from the library and really enjoyed them. And for some reason, I'm telling myself that if I read this and enjoy it, then I can buy Laura Kinsall's like backlist and read it. For some reason, I just need to like read one more before I make that decision, I guess. I don't know. She doesn't have a huge amount of books that she's written, but I don't know. So I figured I'd pick this one up. Next are two books that I actually started in 2014 but did not finish. The first is Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. I've talked about this so many times and explained why I haven't finished it so many times. It's because of the show. I was reading it while the show was on and then I didn't want to get them confused in my head, so I kept putting it off. And now I'm pretty sure the show comes back soon and I'm caught in this horrible cycle. But I'm going to try and prioritize this for sure. And this is about werewolves. And last is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And I read like 80 pages in here, and this again was when the show was on. I don't actually have Stars, so I've only seen one episode. I don't really understand what my logic for stopping this was. I think something else may have come out and I like put it down so I could read that. Next are my adultish books. The first is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I bought this when there was like a ton of hype about it, and then over the last couple of months I feel like there's been a lot of like negative thoughts on this book, which is now making me feel all kinds of conflicted. And I have heard it's a little, I don't want to say dense, like where it's like hard to comprehend, but slow, I guess, and that kind of scares me too. The book feels dense. This is like a hefty book for a paperback. But it's definitely something I want to check out so that I can make the decision on whether or not I like it. Next is a book I have had apparently since 2008, because that's when the sticker was put on here. So 2008, 2009, I bought this from my college bookstore. It is Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by Gregory Maguire, and this is a kind of retelling of Cinderella. And I have read Wicked by Gregory Maguire and really liked it, which is part of the reason I picked this up. The other reason is that there was a television movie made of this, which had Stockard Channing in it. And I actually really like that movie. It's not like the best thing ever made, but it's fun. And I'm just curious to see how different or similar it is. And I did pick this up in college, but it just like didn't grab me, and so I set it down and never picked it up again. Next are what I'm calling my contemporary YA. So you have Paper Towns by John Green. This is another book I've had on my bookshelf forever. I bought this like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And I just never picked it up. I've actually only read Looking for Alaska by John Green, and I wasn't the hugest fan of that. And I own Paper Towns and An Abundance of Catherines, and I haven't read that either, obviously. But I figured this is the one I really needed to read, and I think part of that is knowing that it is, well, they already wrapped filming, but that it's being made into a movie. Because what if I really like it and then I want to go see the movie in theaters? I want to know that. Next is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This hasn't been on my shelf for too long, but I definitely feel like I've been avoiding it for some reason. I really liked Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. I wanted to pick this up right away, and then I just never did. And the last one is The Bermuda Triangle by Maureen Johnson. This, I think I bought like the same time I bought Paper Town, so this has been around for a long time too. But I really like Maureen Johnson's writing, so I don't know why I'm I've been putting this off. Next are the paranormally reads, and so the first one is The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. I know Maureen made it twice on this list, but I actually had borrowed this from the library earlier this year or late last year and got like 100 pages in, I think, and it just wasn't, it's hard to say if I didn't like the book or if I just wasn't in the mood for it. But I ended up picking this up for $2 at Ollie's, and I do have the second book as well. But I think I just need to decide if I'm going to invest in this series emotionally or not. And I do think it seems like an interesting concept. Ooh, it was blurred by Allie Carter. And Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, but I really like Allie Carter. Speaking of Holly Black, The Coldest Girl in Coldtown. I got this for Christmas last year and I had saved it because I was like, I'm going to read it for Halloween, and then I didn't. So now I just need to read it. Next is a book that I never know where to put it. Like, do you put it in fantasy? Do you put it in sci-fi? Do you put it in some other weird genre? I don't know. It is Cress by Marissa Meyer. Now, I bought this in like February or March of this year. I had only read Cinder. I bought this in Scarlet, and I read Scarlet earlier this year, and I've kind of just been putting off reading Cress. And part of that was I wanted to be closer to Winter's release, which at the time, Winter was supposed to come out early next year, but now Fairest is coming out, so Winter's been pushed back to like the fall. But I keep looking at this and being like, I need to read that, and then I'm like, but the book is so big. And I don't mean it in like a I'm intimidated kind of a way, but I'm really nervous I will pick this up on a day I'm working and get so sucked in that when I come home I'll have to finish it. And I am a good person, but reading like a book over 500 pages in one day would require me to stay up pretty late at night, and that's not something I really want to do on a work night. Finally, are 4 books that I'm calling fantasy. So the first one is The Ring and the Crown by Melissa De La Cruz. I don't know if this is really fantasy, but I'm going to call it that. I just keep putting this one off and I keep wanting to read it, but I don't know, I'm like nervous. I don't know, I can't explain it. Oh geez. Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce. This was like one of my first book outlet purchases, and I put it on so many TBR videos, and it just never gets read. And I don't know. And this is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and it's like part of a whole companion-y series. I don't know if they're really companions, but of fairy tale retellings, and this is kind of like the Laurie Kinsall thing. I just need to decide if I'm going to invest in the other books in the series. Next is Forestborn by Shannon Hale, another book that's been in a million TBRs. I got this for Christmas last year, and I just want to finish this series so badly. This is the Books of Bayern. It's kind of like a middle grade / YA series, and I love definitely the first 2 books. I really enjoyed the third one as well, and I just want to read this one. I think part of the reason I'm putting off reading this one is the first 3 are about 3 individual friends, and this one is more about a character we've never really met before, and so I'm not like super invested in reading about her. Is Bitter Blue by Kristen Kishore. Now, I don't know. I'm still kind of struggling with this one, not with like reading it or not reading it. I'm gonna read it. But if I should reread Graceling first, and I think I'm going to. So those are my 15 books to read. Book's gonna fall. 15 books to read in 2015. If you have any suggestions or if you want reviews of any of these, feel free to let me know down in the comments, and I will try my hardest. Yeah, I'm really hopeful I can do this. I feel like I can. I mean, it's only 15 books, so that's a little over a book a month. And I am thinking that for at least some of these, if they do not get read by the end of the year, that I'm going to get rid of them. So like donate them or give them away or something. So thank you so much for watching.